Have you ever wondered if a relationship in your life is not as healthy as it should be? We're diving into the deep waters of toxic relationships today. These are relationships that drain you mentally and emotionally, leaving you feeling less than your best. It's not always easy to spot these relationships, but there are signs you can look out for. They could be your lifeline in the sea of complex human interactions. Stick around to learn about the 8 signs of a toxic relationship. Firstly, a constant stream of criticism is a significant sign of a toxic relationship. Picture this. You're sharing an idea, expressing a feeling, or simply discussing your day, and it's met with a barrage of criticism. This criticism goes beyond the realm of constructive feedback. It's often negative, unnecessary, and seems to be aimed at damaging your self-esteem. In a toxic relationship, the criticism is relentless. It's as if your partner is on a mission to point out your faults, belittle your achievements, and undermine your confidence. It's like a perpetual rain cloud, casting a shadow over your self-worth and making you second-guess your every move. This is not what genuine, caring feedback looks like. In a healthy relationship, criticism is meant to help you grow. It's delivered with kindness, respect, and the intention to build, not break. Remember, in a healthy relationship, criticism should be constructive, not destructive. The second sign to look out for is control and manipulation. This is a tricky one because it often starts subtly. It can begin with small things like deciding where to go for dinner or what movie to watch. But then it escalates. Suddenly you find your partner making big decisions without your input, or subtly steering your choices to line up with their desires. Toxic individuals often manipulate situations and people to their advantage, leaving their partners feeling powerless. They may use emotional blackmail, guilt trips, or gaslighting to get their way. It's a way of asserting dominance and control, and it's anything but healthy. It's important to remember that in a healthy relationship, decisions are made together, and both partners' views and feelings are considered and respected. So if you feel like you're losing your voice in the relationship, it's time to take a step back and evaluate. Remember, a relationship should be a partnership, not a power struggle. Sign number 3 is a lack of open and honest communication. Picture this. A relationship where words are thrown around like darts but never hit the target. Where conversations are a minefield of misunderstandings and assumptions. That's precisely what happens when communication is lacking in a relationship. In a toxic relationship, this absence of genuine dialogue often acts as a breeding ground for confusion, resentment, and mistrust. It's like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. You're bound to hit a wall. Good communication, on the other hand, is like a lighthouse in the storm of life's challenges. It guides us, providing clarity and understanding. It's the glue that holds relationships together. It allows us to express our needs, share our feelings, and resolve conflicts. But in a toxic relationship, this lifeline is often cut off, leaving individuals feeling unheard and misunderstood. Remember this: communication is the lifeline of any relationship. The 4th sign of a toxic relationship is constant disrespect and disregard. If you find that your partner often brushes aside your feelings, belittles your opinions, or tramples on your boundaries, you may be dealing with this issue. There's a stark difference between healthy disagreements and outright disrespect. In a healthy relationship, even during arguments, there's a level of respect maintained. But in a toxic one, you may notice that your partner constantly interrupts you, mocks your ideas, or makes you feel small and insignificant. It's as if your voice just doesn't matter. This can also extend to your personal space and time, with your partner disregarding your need for privacy or alone time. These are not the signs of a loving, respectful relationship. They are red flags that something is seriously wrong. Remember, respect is fundamental in any relationship. Sign number 5 is an overwhelming sense of negativity and toxicity. This one can be a bit tricky to spot, especially if you're in the thick of things. Yet it's one of the most telling signs of a toxic relationship. It's like being stuck in a perpetual storm with no sunshine in sight. This storm is often characterized by a constant barrage of negativity, drama, and stress. You find yourself feeling drained, worn out, and on edge more often than not. It's a constant state of tension, where even the smallest disagreements can escalate into major conflicts. It's vital to remember that while every relationship has its ups and downs, it shouldn't feel like you're riding a never-ending roller coaster of emotions. A healthy relationship should be a source of comfort, not chaos. It should bring joy and peace, not constant stress. So if your relationship is more draining than fulfilling, it might be time to reassess. The sixth sign of a toxic relationship is isolation. This is a particularly cunning and insidious tactic often employed by toxic partners. They might subtly or overtly discourage you from seeing your friends or family, making you feel guilty for wanting to spend time with them. The goal is to gain more control by cutting off your support network, making you more dependent on them and them alone. This isolation can start to feel like a prison, a world where only the two of you exist. It's a world that's been deliberately crafted to keep you under their influence. You might start to feel lonely, even when you're with your partner. That's because true companionship and connection can't thrive in a climate of control and manipulation. Remember, healthy relationships value your individuality and freedom. They encourage your connections with others, not sever them. Isolation is a red flag in any relationship. Sign number 7 is frequent unresolved conflicts. Imagine this. You're constantly embroiled in arguments, disagreements, and conflicts that seem to have no end. You feel like you're stuck in a perpetual game of tug-of-war, and no matter how much you pull, the rope never moves. This is what it feels like to be in a toxic relationship, where unresolved conflicts are the order of the day. In such relationships, you'll notice that issues are rarely, if ever, resolved. Instead, they are swept under the rug, only to resurface later with even more intensity. The same arguments are had over and over, and it feels like you're stuck in a loop. Why does this happen? It's because toxic relationships lack the fundamental elements of effective communication and mutual understanding. Instead of working together to solve problems and disputes, individuals in toxic relationships often resort to blame games, defensiveness, and even outright denial. In a healthy relationship, conflicts should be resolved through communication and understanding. Lastly, the 8th sign of a toxic relationship is a lack of trust. Trust, my friends, is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. When it's absent, the foundation of the relationship is on shaky ground. It's like building a house on sand. It's only a matter of time before it crumbles. A lack of trust manifests in various ways. Unfounded suspicions, jealousy, and constant need for reassurance are just the tip of the iceberg. When trust is lacking, even the simplest of actions can become a source of conflict. You might find yourself questioning their every move, their every word. It's a draining, debilitating existence. Trust is not just about faithfulness, it's also about reliability and dependability. Can you count on them when times get tough? If the answer is no, then you may be in a toxic relationship. Remember, a relationship should be a source of strength, not anxiety. Without trust, a relationship cannot thrive. Now that we have explored the 8 signs of a toxic relationship, it's important to recognize them in our lives. Let's take a moment to summarize. First, we have constant criticism, where one person consistently berates and belittles the other. Second, there's control and manipulation, which can make you feel like you are losing your sense of self. The third sign is a lack of communication, where silence is often used as a weapon. Then comes disrespect and disregard, when one person fails to respect the other's boundaries or disregards their feelings. The 5th sign is negativity and toxicity, where one person's negative energy completely drains the other. Isolation, the 6th sign, is when one person starts to distance the other from their friends and family. The 7th sign, unresolved conflicts, is when issues are never resolved and keep piling up. Lastly, a lack of trust, the 8th sign, is when suspicion and insecurity overshadow love and trust. These signs are not just red flags, but glaring sirens that something is not right. By recognizing these signs, we can protect ourselves and those around us from falling into the trap of a toxic relationship. Remember, relationships should be about mutual respect, love, and understanding. It's about growing together, not pulling each other down. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship that respects and values you. Don't settle for less.